Hey besties, let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? I do not have to hear recuse or dismissive. If I didn't hear nothing else tonight in this episode, honey, I heard the word recuse 100 times and dismissive. Who they didn't want Drew and Shamita want me out, honey. And I just have to mention, Portia, what is up with your confessional look? The groove is in the heart look. What is going on? Do you have on white disco boots with this outfit? Who picked this for you? Why does it have gloves attached to it? Why the headband? What is going on? Where are we going with this? Who did it? Why is that ball main too? I don't care. I'm sure it's designer. Of course it is. That's why it's ugly. I don't like it. I don't like it. Well, welcome, besties. You are now behind the shade, and thanks for joining me. I recap your favorite reality shows weekly. Now, honey, let's kiki and ha ha, and let's get into another episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's season 16, episode 11. Let's be honest, is the title. But let's be honest for a minute. Are they really funking? Do y'all really think Portia and Shamia fell out? Do you think this beef is real? It gives performative. It gives, girl, let's get the people what we got. Let's get these ratings up. It's giving produced, performative. Portia keep breaking the fourth wall. But let's get into it, honey. Besties, how would you rate this week's episode? It is a filler episode, which I don't mind fillers. You know, we got the punch at the end. We didn't get too much of Brit. We got a very little of Brit. Did y'all notice? All she came on the screen, honey, to tell us she was about to start packing because she had to come out here to Napa Valley to go to her friend's wedding. Bye, Brit. Enjoy your trip. Y'all think did y'all miss her? Like, will she really leave and bring Kenya back next season? Like, I really didn't miss her. At this point, Chloe could be a friend of and take her place. Chloe got so much personality, honey. Whoo, I don't know, honey. I would never be able to talk to my mama like Chloe was talking to Kelly. But I would rate it, about a 7. You can't give a 7. But besties, please drop down in the comments. Let me know what you thought about Shamia and Portia and Drew and Ralph and Britt not being on the show and Angela and Cynthia. But please make sure you like the video. Let's take care of business first. If you hear you want to kiki, please like the video. It's a free and an easy way to support my channel. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel and make sure your notification bell is on so that you know each and every time I post my content. Now let's get into it so we can get to the good part, honey. So Angela and Charles, they go eat on a rooftop at a restaurant, right? She's discussing that she wants to talk to her sister. Every time she says her name, it's bleeped out. Now, baby, if I told you not to talk about me on your little job, on your little reality show, if I did not sign off, don't bring me up. Don't bring me up, okay? But she wants to talk to her beep about when the sister got into it with her daughter. Now, I'm sitting here like, Angela, that was so 6 weeks ago, like the playback showed us. Why all of a sudden it's important now? Why wasn't it important 6 weeks ago? Your timing is off, sis. But hey, so Angela feels like her sister does not appreciate her. And Angela has helped her and her mom. She has got her started in businesses and this, that, and a half. She has set her up for life. and just no appreciation reciprocated, right? So Charles tells her, remember now, the more you give, the worse it gets, you know, and he tells her that, she just needs to go ahead and walk away like he did with his sister and his family. He said, honey, his family got so much drama. It's more than a Tyler Perry movie could ever offer in the drama department. And he said he has peace now. And what I do know, I agree with him because my dad used to say, the more you do for someone, the more they'll hate you for it. And that's exactly what's going on here. That sister jealous of her that married an NBA ball player. It ain't gotta do much or nothing. And she out here achieving and hustling, got her own bag. And girl, these people do not see it for us. Successful folks, just they don't. They just don't. It is sad because Angela don't mean no harm. Whew. Cynthia and Shamia meets up for eats and drinks. Shamia says she didn't sleep last night because the night before was Portia's event. And she even said on her way to the event, she called her mom and asked for prayer because she just was feeling like this was, something was going to happen. She had a bad feeling, her discernment. So she said she feels blindsided by Portia questioning her loyalty in front of everyone. And I was like, yeah. So now Shamia is crying. And it says whatever she said to the ladies, it got back to Portia kind of like wrong, right? They put extra on it. And by the time they brought it back, they painted Portia as the bad friend. And she is, yes, she is. But everyone asks Shamia now that they're asking her, like, is, Portia really a real friend? Like, are they real friends? They said, because Portia is shady and she's unsupportive. Like, she wasn't even there at the studio when Shamia was getting ready to pick out her, her new single, Unsupportive. And Shamia says she agreed, she admitted that she downplays it. And that might be the problem, Shamia. You cannot downplay your feelings for your friend. And so you're not being real. You're not showing up as your true, authentic self. So the question can be asked, are you a friend? Because you showing up as a version of you that you're not. And now you can't keep keeping up this facade. And now you about to come out and come out on this girl. You about to open up a can and she ain't gonna be able to handle it, right? So let's stop downplaying things. Say how you feel, honey. Be real. Be transparent. Okay. So Shamia says, these ladies, they don't understand real friendships. They probably don't. Cynthia tells her stories about friendships. Y'all remember the contract that she made for Nene. And so then we learned that Shamia and Portia has been having challenges in their friendships due to their mothers being friends before, and they fell out. So now we understand why Auntie Diane don't accept Shamia. But I think it's very loving that Shamia refers to her as Aunt Diane. Wow. And so Aunt Diane is always cautious of Portia and Shamia's relationship, their friendship, because of what she went through with Shamia's mother. So I guess the scenario is painted as Shamia's mom did Auntie Diane wrong. And that would have to be hard for me to be your friend when you and your mom and my mom fell out. That would have to be hard. But I guess if you already were friends first, I guess you just kind of go, yeah, it can be hard. It can be hard, but it's possible to remain good friends. It's possible. So production asked, so what happened between y'all mamas? Shamia's like, oh no, we're not gonna get into that. She was like, we're not gonna talk about that, honey. We'll say that for another season when I ain't got nothing else to talk about. Okay, so Auntie Cynthia says, well, I want to see you guys resolve this. You guys will. because normally you guys are really happy together and it's a sight to see. And Shamia's like, yeah, we be laughing and jonesing and stuff. And then Cynthia's like, I want a relationship, a friendship like you and Portia. And it was like, okay, Cynthia, you don't have any friends? Aren't you and Crystal like that? No. You mean like you want a friend from back in the day? Cynthia, you ain't got no friends from back in the day? Well, you have a sister. Well, Portia got a half sister. I don't know. Well, she envies their friendship. So Shamia is at the studio with her friends and her sister, and she's about to pick out her first single, and she misses that Portia isn't there. And so everyone is like, yeah, that's a trip. It's a shame. Yep. Uh-huh. So Portia, Cynthia, and Angela, shall they go bowling? And you know what? I went bowling last night to the same place, not the location, but the same company. I didn't know they were a franchise, but anyway, it cracks me up when these people go on site somewhere and they shut it down to the public. And it's like, come on now, it's a bowling alley. Bowling alleys are huge. Other people could be in there with the cameras. Like, come on. And then I noticed how they had one person bowling on the other lane. I was like, who is that? Somebody from production. But it was like they shut the bowling alley down so that these three girls that don't know how to bowl can bowl. And so Cynthia asked how PJ is doing. And so Portia says PJ is more attached to her now, and it hurts her because she's working now. So she's not home a lot. They're away from each other more because she's back filming and all that. And so she said one night PJ asked her where was Simon. She calls him Papa or something like that. And she always says he's working. So PJ, I believe she's 6 years old now. So she was like, well, he been gone too long. And so Portia didn't know what to do with that. So she texts Simon and let him know, like, PJ misses you because she feels like they were a real family. Honey, Simon said, I don't give F them kids. He do not care. He left them on red. So Portia says, every day he finds something to fight with her about. Everything. Like, Portia can't film at the house. She can't even film in the car that he bought her. Just, it's a lot. So Cynthia and Angela were telling her how they know it's painful and, take your moments and cry. And, you don't have to be strong. And then Portia admits that she is fragile and she really did her event. She wanted to celebrate all of the ladies. And then she wanted, them to come together and have peace at the end of the event. But instead of that, she has been painted as the horrible friend. Hold on, besties. And I'm back. And so then Portia says, she may not be the friend like the normal person that she usually is. She's the strong friend, the funny friend. She's all those things, and she can't be any of that right now because of the divorce. And so, she's like, I need time and space. And so she says she wants to sit down and talk to Shamia. And I'm like, good, cool. So here go Drew, child. Drew is talking to her mother. And so they discussed that Ralph is coming for her. He coming for her last company. She developed a new company. He wants 40% from both of her companies. And so he wants to recuse her attorney. And that means pretty much fire her where she has to get another attorney. And what happens is she would have to start the process all over. So I'm like, okay, is he buying time doing this? And at this juncture, it's just like, Ralph, like, why? Why are you doing this? Like, why are you so woo, honey, you will meet a new version of the person you used to love when you ready to break up, honey. They will come out and turn into a demon seed for real. So he is doing all this. Her mom is like, this is all too much because he's trying to take from you, but he's not even giving you a dime. Mom is like, he ain't giving you no child support or nothing. He's not helping you with anything. Mama said, I'm helping you with them kids. So, she got plenty to say, honey, because she putting her money where her mouth is, honey. So, and I heard Ralph had sent her a little message on, I guess, Instagram. I guess it was tonight or something, telling her, yeah, who was there for you and your husband, some mess about when you was down and out, who was there for you, and blah blah blah. It was like, why are we taking this funk, this mess to the internet? What is happening to this generation? Now, child, Ralph has changed the codes to the alarm to get in the house. She don't have access to her own house. She said she was coming home at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was like, Drew, where you been? Like, seriously. I want to know, Drew, why are you hanging out in the streets till 1 o'clock in the morning? You know he was up clocking it because who was watching the kids? That's what happened. He got mad at you because he felt you missed your curfew, so he changed the lock since you didn't come home. So in order for her to come in, he has to come upstairs, and he is not supposed to be in the house. He is only supposed to be in the basement. He just be breaking rules. And it makes me wonder, is he cool with the judge? Are they dating? I just want to know because everything seems like everything is against Drew to make it hard for Drew. Like he has to stay in the house. Why? Why? And I mean, child, so with her being locked out at 1 o'clock in the morning, Ralph had to come upstairs and let her in. Honey, the way I would have popped him in his face, we would have been fighting. Do you hear me? Why did you changing the locks in my house? Got me locked out. Like, why are you playing games? Child, I had to put hands and feet on Ralph. And let me tell you, honey, the next morning we would have been taking all them panels, all them panels out of that house. We would have been going back to keys. But you still can change the locks. But honey, I don't know. I don't know. Drew, why do you have to live there? Why don't you move? You got money, girl. Why don't you move? Ralph, you are such a beep. So, Ralph has turned into a lying, scamming, conniving person. That's what her mama said. So we are over at Angela's. Her mom comes over to the house. Hey, mom. And you guys, her mother passed away today. We need to RIP to Angela's mom and send our condolences and our thoughts and our prayers to Angela's family. I hope her and her sister can get it together now that they don't have their mom. And her birthday just passed too. So this is all so much. So I did go on her Instagram page and it happened today. And she said the filming of tonight's show was like a little over a year ago. And so her mom passed away suddenly. And it's just like, oh my goodness. So you guys go over there to her Instagram page and tell her your give her your condolences. So moms comes over and tells her they are moving into a new house, honey. Angela's like, oh, you coming over here dropping a bomb on me? Like, okay, so you moving out of the house? What you gonna do with the old house? And so Angela tells us how she really all her life she dreamt of taking care of her mother. This is what she wanted to do. So it's kind of like, oh. So her mom is like, we don't want to be a burden on you. We just want to take the load off of you. And I'm like, yeah, right. So Angela tells us, honey, she spent like almost $500,000 on this house. And I'm like, yeah, right. That sister is over there talking to her mama. And the mama's in the middle, and she just kind of got a side with that other daughter because they live together. So, honey, they giving up Angela's palace. They're gonna get their own because that sister is mad at Angela. Oh, honey. So Angela brings up the fight between her daughter and her sister. And mom said, I'm in the middle and I just was shocked when it all happened. And so Angela's like, I need you to stand up for me. And her mama said, I do stand up for you. You're my daughter. Remember when Charles was talking like you don't clean up? I wanted to hit him upside his head. And so she said, I love him. We don't talk, but I love him. That's my son-in-law. But I might have to sit down and write him a letter. I wondered if she get a chance to write that letter. And she said, we should get along because, we are about the same age. So now she over there age shaming Charles. And so Angela clocked it. She was like, Mom. So child, Kelly and her daughter, Chloe, the oldest, they out driving. Kelly trying to teach Chloe how to drive. Chloe is stressing Kelly out. And if you have ever taken your kid out to drive, you understand Kelly's position. Honey, the way I thought I was going to go to glory, it's like why do they just get in the car and just drive fast? They ain't looking left, right, checking nothing. They just driving like it's a video game. So, honey, Chloe is driving in this big old Escalade. That's the number one problem, Kelly. You ain't got no Honda, no little Subaru. You don't have no old little Datsun. So the girl is driving close. She getting ready to sideswipe every car parked on the streets of Atlanta. Kelly like, pull over, move over, come over. And then the girl got to be talking crap back to Kelly. So Kelly talking about she need her wine for her anxiety, honey. Chloe talking crap to her. I was like, if that was me, I would not be here talking to y'all right now. My mouth would still be wired up. The stuff that you could say to your mamas nowadays, honey. And I get it. You're just trying to, have that open, that openness with your kid. But hey, tighten up, little girl, and have some respect. So the kid wants her mama to buy her a BMW. Kelly's like, you can't even afford the gas for a BMW. She was like, yeah, but you can. Okay, spoiled brat. And then she says, well, I'm going to be running a new restaurant, so I can afford the gas. I'm like, you are 17, Chloe. You can't, all you can run is your mouth. What do you mean? You over here sideswiping every car parked on the streets. How you going to run a restaurant? Run that steering wheel first. Girl. So Kelly wants her to be a part of the process. She said, yeah, I'm going to start hiring. I want you to be there. I want your opinion. And Chloe does seem, like an old soul. She seems a little mature. But at the end of the day, hiring people, how does Chloe, child, maybe she maybe she grew up in the restaurant and she knows the in and outs, honey. But I'm like, how you want a 17-year-old's opinion? And it's like, I don't know, because Kelly, you're sitting here teaching her how to drive in an Escalade, a big old Cadillac Escalade. Whew, good luck. So Drew's mom flies in to see about her baby because she can tell Drew needs the love and the support, honey. So they talk about her divorce again. Moms cannot believe Ralph is trying to make Drew fail at life. Like he's trying to take all the money, all of this, all of that. And if they recuse her attorney, she'll have to get another one and start this divorce all over. Her mother's like, no, this just needs to end. And it's like the courts are like, who are the people? Who are these people? Who is the judge? Because, the judge told them don't discuss the divorce with the kids, but the kids, like, I don't know why we're living in a generation now where we don't want the kids to know anything. These kids are very smart. It is best that you tell these kids things, the sooner the better. I mean, you can't hide a divorce. They already know things are different. Pops is downstairs. He can't even come upstairs. Mom is up here with us all the time without dad. You don't think they're going to try to take advantage of Drew? She's probably soft and gentle. They don't take her serious when she try to, reprimand them with some discipline. And then remember, Drew has to leave home every other weekend. Like, come on, these kids, they are going nuts. They know something is up. They're not crazy. And so, so her mom is like, and I think the courts made a dumb decision in letting Ralph stay downstairs. And I'm like, exactly. Like, you guys don't get along. He is doing everything he can to tear you down. Like, you guys should not be staying this close to one another. It's too close for comfort. So Drew is like, she don't like bumping into him in the garage, outside, on the staircase. She don't want to see him ever because she's growing hatred for him. So she's like, it's just stupid that they got him downstairs. Like, this is just all stupid. And then the kids are all out of control. They don't even listen to me no more. I tell them, stop, don't do that all day long. And before, I didn't have to do all that. So Drew is shocked. This is her first time hearing that her kids are not really being protected, and she starts to cry. She gets up to go get Kleenex. She comes back. Her mother is crying too. This is just so sad. Drew feels like she's failing her kids because the vibes in the house aren't good and the kids feel it. And she's trying, she thought she was creating some normalcy for them, but it's hard when you have to leave the house every other weekend and you upstairs, he downstairs, y'all not talking because they're not even talking no more. And they're feeling the vibe. They're feeling it. And they're lashing out, they're taking it out. They don't know what to do with their kids. Sit down and talk. I wish some judge would tell me how to raise my kids and don't tell them. What do you mean? Why not? They're used to seeing their mom and dad, and now they only see, they only see one by themselves. They don't never see them together. One is downstairs, one is upstairs, one leaves on the weekend and come like, chat. Oh no, we're gonna sit up, we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about this. So Portia and Shamia meets Honey to sit down and talk on tea. Soon as Portia sit down, old messy Auntie Diane calls with a stank face, just being messy. So she gets off the phone. I'm like, see, this is just, ugh. So they begin a little small talk. How are you? I'm okay. I'm busy. And it's weird for them, right? So Portia feels like Shamia has reserved some reserved energy going on. Yeah, because she getting ready to let out on you. So Shamia's feelings are like Shamia's feelings, she's been expressing herself to everyone else except for Portia. Portia's like, I'm clueless about how she feels. I don't know what's happening. So Shamia is like, I'm not the ops, but I do want to be heard today. I want her to hear me. She's gonna hear you, girl. So she's telling Portia that she masks how she feels, and she's been doing that for a long time, and it has harbored a lot of hurt for her and her feelings. And she feels she handles their friendship with care, and she hates that it's came out into the group of ladies. And she's like, I just didn't need their 2 cents. Well, you're the one that went to the ladies talking. So what do you mean? You brought them into your business. So don't get mad when they got something to say, Shamia. That smoke you had, you should have took it straight to Portia. And what is performative to me is you guys been friends a long time. So you guys know how to talk to each other. You guys have bonded over your mother's falling out. Y'all know how to communicate and get along and all this. And it might be, there might be some drama and a little stuff that you cover up and not clear, blah, 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 right? But for you to go to the women on this show, it just says performative to me. Shamia, you know how to be Portia's friend. Now all of a sudden you guys are unraveling because you're on TV, right? So Shamia points out when Portia talks over her, when she's trying to play her song, that bothers her. She said when you being petty on the post, that bothers her. You know, just the difference between me and you is I don't go crazy in the moment, but I am hurt by it. You talk over me while I'm talking, I'm hurt by that. So moving forward, when you feel some kind of way about me, child, she's talking, right? This is Shamia telling Portia, moving forward, when you feel some kind of way, that gets interrupted by Portia in this big loud sigh. She's talking, right? And Portia goes, whoa. So Shamia's like, she is taken aback. She's like, am I boring you? She was like, no, I had to take a breath Because, she said, why? This is just uncomfortable. But why? And I'm like, baby, take a breath. Is like this. You did a like a little old spoiled kid. And Portia is a Cancer. They don't really know how to take accountability. Apologizing is not their thing. They rather not. So I'm taking a breath because I'm uncomfortable. Portia says she don't understand why there are these things being brought up again. So it's been said that they have went through all this stuff like 8 years ago about all the stuff that was bothering Shamia, and now it's coming up again. And I also read that Kenya brought it up in season 9's reunion that Portia is not a good friend to Shamia. So, baby, honey, Portia, you've been wigging out for a minute. And so she brings it up again, probably Portia, because you're still doing it. And Shamia, you have let it go on. But now is the time. She needs to check you, Portia, and she's trying to check you. But I think Shamia is like coming on too strong. She's trying to get it all out at once. She just, and you did that. I don't like how you did that. And you did that. And it was like, whoa, like, slow down, girl. Slow down. So Shamia says, like, Portia, you running with the mess, and it's making her sad. And it's like, well, I want to salvage our friendship. Portia is like, what is happening, Shamia? Like, Portia don't even understand what's going on. Why are we funking again? Start over. Portia don't have good understanding. And she's dismissive. She is, because she's spoiled. She's been a little narcissistic, if I can say that. She's not going to be held accountable. She doesn't like you talking about her. She's not going to take criticism, okay? And she's like, I'm trying to have a productive conversation with you, Shamia. But are we on the edge? I said, are we on the edge of breaking up, huh? So Shamia's like, she brings up the crap with Diane and how Diane said, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. And she said, do you know how that makes me feel? And so Shamia tells Portia, it makes you pull back sometimes. And Portia's like talking over here, denying what she's saying. It's really like, okay, wait, y'all talk one at a time. I'm trying to keep up. So Shamia says, if I did that side you just did, you would feel like I was being dismissive of your feelings. Portia's like, Shamia, you want to argue and I don't. And this is where I'm saying Portia is immature. When people don't like what you're saying, they think you're always arguing and not trying to have an adult conversation. So Shamia says, I just wish we could be like the way we are when we're off camera. I wish you can treat me like that when we're on camera. Whoa. And she said, you know what you said to me, Portia? You said, oh, Bravo will have to pay me more money for that. Child, excuse me? Waitress, can you bag my food up, please? I'm about to go. I'm about to get up out of here because Portia in here playing. Did Portia, I know that hurt. Your best friend said she would need to be paid more money to be nice, to act normal with you. I'm going to tell y'all what's really happening right now. As we've said before, Portia is jealous of Shamia's life. Portia, we can tell, she went after an African. Child, wait a minute, y'all. Did y'all hear the true tea? That Portia, allegedly, she is dating like the president of Nigeria now. And they're not called presidents over there, probably like a prime minister or whatever, but she is dating the leader of Nigeria now. Is he married? I think he married too. Anyway, they say it's over there on Tasha K's channel. Go over there and find the child. I don't care enough to know, but I like to hear little bits and pieces. But honey, we all know Portia wants to be a kept woman. She wants the rich African. She wants the big house, the cars, the jewelry, the shopping, the trips. She had that life for a little bit over a year with Simon, and it's over with. And Shamia got her a solid, right? But at the same time, Shamia is putting on too. And I think Shamia is jealous of Portia because of her fame. Shamia's sitting over there on all kinds of talent. The girl can sing, she can rap, she can act, she can do poetry. She's a comedian. She can do everything. Yeah, I ain't going to say that. But but she's multifaceted in the arts department, and I think she wants some fame. She has been the friend of to the show since Portia graced us. And when did Portia come on? About season, I don't know, 5, 6, something like that, 4, 5, 6, something like that. But it's like Shamia been a friend of all this time, and I really think Portia is like, dang, like she never said she did not want Portia on the show, but sometimes you don't have to say it. It could be a nonverbal way of saying things. Look how she's acting. You know, we good friends, but I don't want to work with you. This is my platform. This is where I shine. People love me. This is where I make my money because I'm competing with you on the under. Catch that T. I'm competing with you, Shabia, and now you're coming over here trying to get my bag too. Portia came on to the show thinking and knowing that she was going to be able to be with her husband and show y'all. She thought she was going to show us Simon in the house and the travel and the cars, the Shamia lifestyle. And that failed. That failed hard. Felt bad. She's in a bad space. She's going out in a bad way. And then here come Miss Goody Two Shoes that can sing and rich and everything. She got all the things, and here she coming on my platform, all in my way. Oh yeah, honey, they are competing against each other silently. Oh yeah, and Aunt Diane is the referee. Oh yeah, it's a mess when you got friends competing with you, you don't even know. But I believe they're both. I guess like Portia's jealous of her, and then Shabia might be a little envious of Portia's fame, and she's coming for it. And Portia's like, wait a minute, because Portia don't have her footing with this. Because shoot, the Portia been acting like a friend of. She may not come back next season, and Shamia may come back. And so Shamia's over here crying on the after show and blah, 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 talking about, well, I didn't want to come on her platform. She didn't want me to be here. Well, no, they said your husband didn't want you to film. And this might be Shamia's only season. Her husband might have to get into it and be like, hey, but I'm going to say this now. If Shamia comes back, I'm going to know that this is fake. Because I bet you if they really fell out, I would think her husband would say, you know what, babe, don't go back. Don't film anymore. So if she comes back, we already know this may be fake, but it's just some things I'm noticing. Let's continue. Okay. Portia doesn't want to argue. Shamia says, it's about the money. Shamia was like, why can't we be that way? Like how we are off camera. And so Portia's like, you want to argue for the show? You just want to argue for the show. And I'm like, there she go, pushing the fourth wall, breaking the fourth wall. So they going back and forth and back again. Portia says they weren't talking before filming. Okay, why not, Portia? Huh? Why were you talking to your best friend when you got word you were coming back and she was receiving a peach? You stopped talking to your friend, huh? Uh-huh. Jealousy strikes again. Portia says she is hurt right now and she needs her friend. And I said, Portia, are you hurt or are you jealous of your friend? Hurt, jealous, spoiled, no accountability, up here just being nonverbal with the sighing loud. She messing with the silverware. Production they had filmed her hands. She got her hands on the table. She fidgeting. What is going on? What is happening right now? So Shamia feels like Portia is minimizing her feelings for the show. And she is. You are absolutely right. But Shamia, you ain't this much of a punk like you trying to act like. You got a big personality too. You got a big butt like your friend, not as big as hers, but it's like you trying to act like you just so soft and you just and this handle with care mess. What does that even mean? I'm handling you with care. Girl, so what, you walk on eggshells? Is that what you're saying? You walk on eggshells around Portia. Okay, and what now you don't want to? And the only thing about it for me, Shamia came at Portia too strong to me. It was like you can make your point, but you just kind of you barking at her. And that's why she over here sighing and playing with the dishes. Like she can't handle all that. She's fragile and you know this. And you just kind of like, yeah, I know you going through it, but I want you to hear what I gotta say. You need to pipe it on down, girl. Bring it down. So Portia wants her to stop and Shamia wants to express herself. And it's like, oh, timing is everything, Shamia. It might not be the right day or time, but you just, your delivery, your message is clear. Very good message. Of course, we want to be respected. We want to be heard. We don't want to be, dismissed and all that. We get that. You hurt. She's hurt your feelings. But you expressed yourself you was just too strong for your best friend. Like that's how Portia kind of like she can't get jiggy with it because she don't know if you're trying to argue, fight, or you trying to work it out. So Portia gets up. She got to go to the bathroom. She got to cry. She comes back. She want to pack her food up. And she's like, "Oh, so we're leaving?" And she was like, "Well, you stopped talking, so I thought we were done. If you something you want to say, go ahead." And I'm like, "What? Did we miss a scene? Because what are you talking about? You got up and went to the bathroom to cry. Was she supposed to be talking while you were gone, or when you first came out the bathroom, she was supposed to start talking before you got back to the table? What is happening?" So I guess it's some bad editing. So they wanted to pack their food up. And I was really wishing that Shamia was like, "No, girl, I'm not ready. We need to get to the bottom of this." Like, Shamia, you came in here on rah-rah status and now you letting her take over. You back walking on eggshells. Is this real or fake? So now that Portia has cried, now Shamia has found her inside voice. So now they can continue. So Shamia is like, I just hate that we haven't reached a common ground. I guess I'll just have to continue to pray for our friendship. And so that's when Portia's like, "Well, you had stopped talking." And so Shamia said, "Well, you said, Shamia, stop." And I stopped and you started crying. I can't read your mind, Portia. I need you to let me know, like, what did I do wrong? So Portia is just like, "I am overwhelmed. I'm human. I'm doing my best." Hey, what can you do? And so Shamia, this is what I didn't like. Shamia's like, "Well, we all are. Like, we all overwhelmed. I masked my feelings." And then, it's a whole bunch of dismissive, dismissive. And she's like, "We all are. I mask my feelings because I handle you with care." So what, you're not gonna handle me with care no more? Like, what does that mean? What is the other option, Shamia? And she said, "We both have things going on." Shamia, what do you have going on? Your best friend is going through a very public divorce. This man is mean and coming at her and trying to tear her down. She can't film right. She got to go to her mama's house. That's why she showed up to your birthday party late, because she was coming from her mama's house. It was traffic. She trying to get it together. She's falling apart. Her family is falling apart. Her daughter want to know where her stepdaddy is. Dennis is filming with Drew. She's sitting here wearing this 70s outfit. It must be her mama's Halloween costume from 30 years ago. The girl is going down bad. Golly. You ain't doing bad as Portia's doing. Okay? You're not. And I hate that because now you're discrediting her feelings. You got to have some kind of compromise going on here. Whew. Child, it could not be me. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Well, I don't want to upset you or bring you grief or more drama, but you are. You in here hollering at her? But find the bandwidth to care about me. Stop hurting me, Portia. What can I do, Shamia? Listen to me. Stop being dismissive. When I pour my heart out, care, listen, hear me. Portia's like, got it. Clock that T. And she's like, Shamia, I don't want to break up. Like, I'm going through a divorce. I need my best friends. I don't want this for us. I am sorry. And then Shamia says she's sorry too. They hold hands and they're like, okay, so now we're connecting. You see the friendship, you know. And Portia tells her, we got this. And so Shamia's like, well, let's get up and hug. No, she said, well, no. Portia's like, well, let's talk just between me and you moving forward. They like, I agree. Let's do that. Let's hug so our hearts can beat together. And she was like, you mean more of like our chest touching and all that? And so what we going to do? Get matching tattoos now? And I'm like, y'all already don't have them? Uh-huh. Well, that was the end of the episode, besties. It was giving very performative, and I watched it like 2 or 3 times, and I'm just seeing here. I didn't like the way Shamia was coming at Portia, because if you know your friend going through a lot, she's going through a lot. Come on now, Shamia. And you just coming at her hard. Now, she ain't no angel, but you ain't either. Yes, Portia is jealous, but so is Shamia. They are the same person, cut from the same cloth. They mamas didn't fell out. So now they didn't fell out. So if their daughters are friends, they gonna fall out. Girl, let me go. PJ and what's the Shiloh? They gonna fall out too. This is a mess. This better be real. They better not be playing in our faces, okay? All right, bestie. Well, that was the end of the episode, and this is the end of my recap. And I'll be back with another recap. Bye, bestie.